So hello and as always, welcome back to Learning MG. So many of you have been asking me regarding our actual video that we did on how to invest what you earn on YouTube. So we're going to try and show you a little bit more since it has come to our attention that you like the video how we invest our money. So we're going to try to show you how we invest our money. So let's go straight into it. So we told you last time that we try to invest it in index funds of the S&P 500, which is an index from the United States, one of the principal indices, and we also try to invest it in a broad world index fund. Okay, so we try to invest our money in both S&P 500, an index fund, and a broad world index fund. So why did we choose those two? Well, we had various options. So for instance, you could actually choose from the Nasdaq, which is typically the actual fund which we actually like, that englobes the technology index. So when people refer to the Nasdaq, they mean to the actual technology index. Now we would also like something that has to do with healthcare. You could also have that too. If not, the Russell 2000, which we also talked a little bit about it. Essentially, you've got a lot of options, but we decided to choose the S&P 500 and the World Index. It is redundant because the World Index has 70% of its actual positions in the United States, but the 30% the rest of the 30% does invest in a broad actual market, Europe, Japan, so various places. So now, why did we choose these funds and of which actual, let's say, of which fund? No, so we try to always choose an actual, let's say, every time we try to invest, we make sure that what we're investing in is something that we try to avoid at all cost, anything that isn't independent. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, remember that once you have a little bit of money and you want to invest it, there are different, let's say, parties that want you to invest your money with them. Okay, but what you have to try and do is look for independent sources. And what do I mean by this? Well, I would try to, let's say, look for a committee or a management that is independent. So which ones have I found? Now, before I carry on, I just wanted to tell you that these are not investing recommendations. This is just my humble opinion on how we invest our money. That does not mean that you should copy or actually take this as advice. So this is just our opinion, and since you actually like that we share it with you, we tried and think of a way to let's say just share it in general with our YouTube community. So we're gonna go back to the main reason why we chose S&P 500 and World Index, and it was just for trying. We tried to invest the most simple way, and we thought since we're doing DCA, which basically, what is DCA? Well, we're gonna tell you right off the bat. DCA is dollar cost averaging. What does this mean? That we try to invest every single month the same amount. At least we try. This way, what we do is, for example, let's imagine this is a curve of the S&P 500. So this is the actual money, the percentage, and this is time. So the actual curve tends to go like this, and like this, and like this, and like this. But in the end, you get here. Now, you could draw a nice little line. It would be like that. Okay, but you don't know when you're actually investing here, or here, or here, or here. Now, what are we doing? Well, we are investing here, 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 here. That way, every single month we invest, and in the end, we get an average, which tends to be the average of the S&P, which, for instance, is in 100 years between 7 and 9%, which we think it's pretty good. So now we're going to tell you why we think independent asset managers is fundamental. Well, basically, we think that we try to choose with the minimal fees possible, minimal fees, and independent management. We found a few. Now, the ones that we thought that were the best were Vanguard, Fidelity, and we also thought BlackRock was pretty good. Now, why is this? Well, we did our research, and you've got to bear into account that you need to choose the actual, let's say, the asset manager based on your broker, because not all brokers have the same actual asset manager. So what would I do? I would try and think of it as every fund management has different brokers. So I would try to just go into your broker and see with the least commissions which actual funds they have. And for instance, in Spain, one thing that isn't tax, because many of you have also got questions about taxes. So in Spain, the refund is taxable, but if you trespass, it isn't. Now, what does this mean? Well, let's say I have a fund, an index fund of the S&P 500, and I want to change it to a healthcare fund. Well, essentially, if you do a trespass, the actual money, let's say you earn 5K of the 10K you've got invested. Well, essentially, you will have 15K here, but you will defer taxes until you refund. And you'll tell me, and how can I look at my broker account and see? Well, there are two options very clearly stated: refund or trespass. You will see it just beside your fund, okay? So it's pretty easy to see. Now, what would I do? I would try and trespass, because you get the benefit of one thing that is called compound interest, okay? That's my humble opinion. So to make a summary real quick: low fees, independent manager, and then you've got a broad option of funds. So just choose the one that suits you best. Remember, there are many. We've talked about healthcare, but you could also talk about a consumer discretionary. You could also talk about defense. You could also talk about almost anything you can imagine. Also, there are index funds of the Russell 2000, which talked about it on the last time we brought you a video. So in general, there are many actual funds, many groups. So we think that you have to choose. Just do your research, or if not, look for counsel, and I'm sure they'll give you the best advice possible. If you're trying to look for advice, I would try to choose an advisor that's independent and that you just pay them for consulting, not for the actual investment advice. Because if not, you know that with anything, it's very difficult to be impartial, okay? So as always, if you've got any questions, just leave it down here in the comments below, and me or anyone from the Learning MG team will answer as shortly as possible. And if you like this video, just remember to hit the subscribe button and click the thumbs up, because it will really help the YouTube algorithm. And as always, thank you very much for watching.